Welcome back. I am finally recording episode 2 of Fuck It, I'm Done, a health and fitness podcast for grown-ass women. I was hoping to get this done in May. However, May was super busy. We had vacations with the kids. We were down in Moab. So I'm just getting to this now. One of the reasons I was hoping to get it done in May is that May was actually Osteoporosis Awareness and Prevention Month. And the blog this month, as well as the podcast, is focused on osteoporosis. So happy belated Osteoporosis Awareness and Prevention Month. I hope that this is helpful to you in some way. We're going to cover a little bit about the statistics around osteoporosis, just to drive home that this is a serious disease that affects a lot of women. We're also going to talk about what it is, why it gets worse during menopause, and then, of course, what we can do to protect ourselves, to monitor for the disease, and hopefully prevent it from happening. So let's go ahead and dive into statistics. Probably the most well-known statistic is that of the 10 million Americans who struggle with osteoporosis, 8 million of them are women. And just in case that's not bad enough, check this one out. For all women over the age of 50, 1 in 2, that's 50% of us, are going to have a broken bone because of osteoporosis. So if you think about your sister, your best friend, your mother, once both of you are over the age of 50, one of you is going to suffer a fracture from osteoporosis. For the one who gets the fracture, she is 4 times as likely to get another fracture within the following year. And if that fracture is in the pelvis or in a large bone like the femur, she has a 22% chance of dying in that same year. And if she does survive, she only has a 33% chance of ever completely regaining her independence. I think out of all of the statistics around osteoporosis, that is the one that knocked the wind out of me. 33%, only a 33% chance of ever being fully independent. And that can happen as early as 50 years old for us. Clearly, this is a problem. Clearly, there needs to be more messaging out there about osteoporosis and how to prevent it, not just giving medication once it already sets in. So let's talk about risk factors for osteoporosis. We know, obviously, that if you're a woman, you have a much greater chance of developing osteoporosis, 4 times more likely than our male counterparts. If you are a white woman or an Asian woman, you are also more likely to develop osteoporosis. If you have a slim frame, if you're shopping in the petite section, you also have a greater chance of developing osteoporosis. This also goes back to malnutrition because, unfortunately, society has convinced us that our worth is tied to our weight and our body fat percentage. So we are all trying to get smaller and we are suffering from malnutrition, which decreases our bone density and our overall ability to repair our bodies. The other thing that is going to increase our chance of developing osteoporosis is menopause. Everybody knows that menopause is when women start to develop osteoporosis at a greater rate. Even though it begins at age 30, we see an increase in the rate of bone mineral loss once we hit menopause. What a lot of people don't know is why. So we're going to talk about that. It all goes back to hormones, right? Our bodies are very, very affected by hormones from the time that we are menstruating, when we're pregnant, and then when we hit perimenopause and menopause, we are on this crazy roller coaster. So let's talk about menopause and what is happening. This is going to be a very quick and dirty summary, but it should be helpful. So when a woman goes through menopause, what that means is that her body has stopped producing eggs and she is not menstruating anymore. Menopause is actually just a point in time when you have not menstruated for a year. While I'm not going to miss menstruation when this finally happens to me, what I am going to miss and what my body is going to miss are the protective benefits of estrogen. So estrogen, obviously that's going to flatline. We have 3 different forms of estrogen, and the strongest form of estrogen is the one that flatlines when we hit menopause. Estrogen is important to our bone mineral density because it keeps osteoclasts at bay. Osteoclasts are one of 2 types of bone cells. They are the ones responsible for breaking down old bone and allowing the body to reabsorb it. When we hit menopause and we have a dip in our estrogen, the osteoclasts are no longer kept in check like they were previous to menopause when we had higher levels of estrogen. So our bone resorption outpaces our bone building. That is why our bone mineral density loss skyrockets when we hit menopause. So what do, right? How do we protect ourselves? This is going to sound very similar to the last podcast because the truth is the truth, and it doesn't change from month to month. The number one thing you can do to protect yourself is lift heavy shit. And this isn't just a slightly offensive t-shirt saying that's super fun for everyone. It is a proven way to treat and prevent osteoporosis. Again, the question is why? And I want to help you understand what heavy lifting does. So bone, just like muscle, okay, it's alive. And when we stress it, it is going to repair itself, and it's going to repair itself stronger so that it can withstand that same kind of stress in the future. Bone repairs just like muscle repairs. So the heavier you lift, the more stress you put on the skeleton, and you activate the second type of bone cell, which is the osteoblast. The osteoblast is your bone builder. So we hit menopause, the osteoclasts, which break down the bone, start to go into overdrive because estrogen is not suppressing them anymore. But if we counteract that by lifting heavy, we activate the osteoblasts. And that is what gives us a fighting chance, is that we have those bone builders going as well. If we are not lifting heavy, if we are not doing high impact exercise, we cannot activate those osteoblasts to the degree we need to in order to counterbalance the osteoclasts. The second thing that we can do to protect ourselves is fucking eat. We have to let go of diet culture. We have to let go of this fallacy that body fat is dangerous. Body fat is not dangerous. Body fat, especially for menopausal women, is actually protective. Am I advocating for obesity? Of course not. What I'm advocating for is eating enough to fuel your body and give it the nutrients it needs to repair itself. Even if you're lifting heavy, if your body doesn't have the nutrition it needs in order to do its job, it can't repair bone. It can't repair muscle. So you're going to lose it. One of the things that we need to be eating is protein. We should be eating a protein-forward diet. And that's meat, okay? And I don't mean just chicken. I mean beef, I mean fish, I mean pork. I mean whatever meat it is that you enjoy, eat it. Eat it in copious amounts. And don't be afraid of the fat that comes with the meat. Your body knows what to do with that. What we should be afraid of is the fat that comes in the 100-calorie packs. It's the fat that comes in all of these processed foods. It's the seed oils that break down in our body and create problems in our arteries. Those are the fats to be afraid of, not the fat that comes with the meat. So if you've been avoiding beef or pork because of the fat that's on it, it's time to let that go. The other thing that we should be eating are fruits and veggies. Everyone knows these are healthy. There's not a whole lot of debate about this. I mean, there are people out there who have something against broccoli. I don't. Broccoli is good. Eat your broccoli. Fruits and veggies have so many micronutrients and they have calcium. I know milk has been marketed as like the ultimate for calcium. Dairy has been marketed to death as where we should be getting our calcium. But the truth is there are a lot of fruits and vegetables and nuts out there that are healthier for us than dairy, especially if you have an intolerance, obviously, that also offer calcium and vitamin K and the other micros that are important for bone rebuilding. So I'm just going to give you a list. Add it to your shopping list, okay? Here are some foods that will help prevent osteoporosis in conjunction with protein, high-intensity exercise, high-impact exercise, and heavy lifting, okay? Here we go. Dark leafy greens, kale, spinach, that whole family. Chard, look it up on the internet. You can Google it. Get dark leafy greens. Sweet potatoes, grapefruit, figs, almonds, prunes, and blackstrap molasses actually is quite good for iron levels and calcium levels. I do want to caution with blackstrap molasses, it is high in carbohydrates. So if you are pre-diabetic or you are diabetic, be careful with this one. Eat it in moderation, use it in moderation. The third thing we can do to help prevent osteoporosis is monitor for it. This goes back to DEXA. I will probably advocate for DEXA every time I do a podcast or a blog, okay? This scan is so easy. It's so easy. It's relatively cheap. Where I live, it's $75. It's worth looking into. It allows you to have power over your own body. It is going to give you information on your bone mineral density, and you will be able to see if there is a dip in that bone mineral density, and that is going to give you a fighting chance to get ahead of that osteoporosis. Okay, working with a doctor, working with a personal trainer, get ahead of the ball. Do not let osteoporosis get ahead of you, because once it sets in, the fight is a lot harder. And then the last thing is getting a real blood test. When it comes to osteoporosis, the reason I advocate for functional blood labs is because even if we are eating a nutritious diet and even if we are weightlifting, if there are nutrient absorption issues because there is some kind of inflammation in the gut or inflammation elsewhere in the body, we're not getting the micronutrients we're working hard to put in our bodies. So it's always a good idea to make sure that your gut is functioning correctly and that if there is inflammation in your body, you can go ahead and address that. So it is possible to prevent osteoporosis. It is possible to counteract osteoporosis. And honestly, it's not that hard. It is a matter of weightlifting. It is a matter of eating nutritious food that is protein forward. And it's a matter of monitoring for osteoporosis and being willing to work with health and fitness professionals to get ahead of the problem. If you're interested in seeing where I got this information, where I got the statistics, you can go to my website, saveyourselfcoaching.com. It's in my blog, and I even have links to the different articles. If you are a data nerd, that is a great place to go. And this is me signing off for another while. I wish I could say I'm going to put this out monthly, but I am a divorced mom of two. So this is just going to come out when I have time to put it out. So anyway, visit my website for more information. And if you're interested in working with a coach who specializes in working with women and in preventing sarcopenia and osteoporosis and frailty syndrome, you can go ahead and book a consultation with me through my website. Till next time.